Well, I had a beautiful background and a green screen and all this great stuff, but guess what? It all went away just as this was all starting. So I don't even know if you people can hear me. We're doing this from home. We're going to try to get the virtual background going again. And blue, green. There it is, but it's all weird because it's something happened. Okay, so I suspect that. See, just pretend you never. Oh, yeah, my camera went out too, and it's on the wrong camera. Yeah, this stuff keeps happening. Let's do that camera. Much better. Oh, geez. See, nice background, nice new background. I worked on it. We're at home, and you can see there's a nice Lazar Sport model back there, an alien bust that I've been working on over. I should mirror this over there. There's Fred over there, which is one of the latest grays I built. He's just standing there, and I got an owl, of course, and then I want to know, but something is there, which many of you've seen, and someone just said recently that they saw it. You can't hear me, right, everyone? My voice is coming through because I'm on a different microphone than usual. Sort of, kind of, maybe. Because I don't hear myself, hello, through the headphones. So, Mary, do you hear me? Yes, Rachel says yes. Thank you. Okay, now I can hear myself now and echo. Oh, there's a sport model. You notice it's hovering. It's one of those new ones that hover all by themselves. Anyway, tonight we're doing Ann Carter's story. She came all the way out here from back east, from Arkansas, to tell about her involvement in all this. And you will know her because she is a regular in our community. And so she did a short piece for us that you'll see tonight. And I don't know when we're going to see Judy's piece because I'm not putting a time limit on myself, but I do know you'll see it before the end of the year, if not sooner. It's long. It's very involved. So far, I built the gray that she saw, a tall white in robes using metahumans, and I learned how to get rid of the clothes they give you with the metahumans and put on my own that I made. So I put the white robes on her and everything. I've done the praying mantis that she saw. These are all new characters, made the same way I made the ones you see in the background. And then I'm currently working on a hybrid baby that she saw. The edit is amazing. We shot this on a Blackmagic Cinema Pro camera, which I've been avoiding because it's a little bit more involved to work with. But the results with that camera are astounding because it's the kind of camera that you shoot feature motion pictures on. Plus, we've been using a sound recorder as opposed to just recording it into the camera on a good microphone. We use Sennhausers. And the Sennhauser mics are going through the sound recorder, and of course we have to use a slate. Hey, Ohmverse. And we have to use the slate, of course, to help us sync the sound. And the difference in look is quite amazing. So we have, because not using a fixed lens, we have a nice soft background focus, depth of field and things. So it's really an involved piece. And they're going to be that way from now on because we were doing our shows. We started off with Daphne, which was quite long. It was very well received. I think it's probably gone past 200,000 views, but it did like 150,000 views in just 2 or 3 weeks. It was astounding, but of course it was the first thing we ever did. And there's a lot of reasons why that happened, And then after that, it just sort of trickled down. We found out, Mary and I, through research, Mary mostly, that the shorter the piece is, the more likely they're going to watch it all the way through. And if they watch it all the way through to the very end, it's good for the analytics. It's good for the algorithms. And if you're trying to make any money from YouTube, which I think is kind of a joke, really, you have to stick to their rules pretty tightly. And those rules, in most cases, and I know you know this because you watch all the other channels that talk about this subject and handle it, they have a lot more hits than us, a lot more views. They're making tons of money. And it's because they're slaves to the algorithms, and they're only doing it for one purpose, and that's to make money. They'll tell you they're not, but they are. So I just don't want to do that anymore. You know, we did make some money, and then the minute that we started making any at all, we stopped being recommended. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that this is a very honest channel. We're all about, hey, Earl, we're all about helping people, sharing this experience with the world as much as possible. And that's the only reason we're doing this. We're not doing it to, I've said it before, to get famous and be clickbait and all that stuff. I don't care about clickbait. And the community we've formed as a result is amazing. It's all of you. You're incredible. And you're what matters the most to us. So in time, I feel by doing longer episodes, not worrying about analytics and clickbait and all that stuff, it's making really high quality cinema about your experiences. Just hasn't been done before, not by anyone, with the exception of Spielberg. Oh, there's no bell here. Wes, thank you. Don't we have a bell somewhere? Thank you very much. We're at home, Wes, today. No, our home doesn't look like this. This is virtual. I made this just a few hours ago just to have a background. Did it all in Unreal. So, yeah, that's what we're about. And I really feel that it's important not to make short little 10-minute pieces and if someone's got a story to tell, let them tell the whole thing as long as it takes, and make a good film out of it. And I've been telling Mary, I have this gut feeling that we're being noticed. And the more that we do the higher quality stuff, the more that we have quality above that and above what's being done on the major channels, including Netflix and stuff like that, that in time it's going to get more notice, and more people like yourselves are going to come forward and participate in this community, and more people are going to watch us because of integrity and good cinema. And that's where I'm at. So that's like right now, I get up every day at 5:30 or so, 6 o'clock, and I just get right to the computer. I work on the laptop at home for a while. Then I zip up everything and take it over to the big computers at the studio, and I just keep working, and I come back and I put everything back over on the laptop and keep going, because I have a high-end laptop that will handle the level of graphics and editing that I'm doing. And once I finished Anne's project, I've been full-time on Judy's, and whereas the footage is pretty well cut, what I'm doing now is, of course, all the visuals. So if she describes something, I show it, and that includes the interior of the craft or place that she was, because honestly, we don't know if it's a spacecraft or if it's we were taken in a craft and taken to another location. Generally, they don't have stadium-sized rooms inside of small craft, but then again, like Doctor Who, we don't know how it works for sure. So I've been working real hard on that, and I'm pretty burned out, but not bad burned out. I'm just tired. It's been Saturday, and it's I've been making a lot of big strides and accomplishments, and getting better and better all the time at doing 3D animation. I've been doing 3D animation since about 1990. And I worked with, some of you might know the programs, but I worked with Lightwave a great deal. But today, things are just so far beyond that now, the capability. I can almost say that I have no limitations anymore. If someone describes a creature, a being of any type, I can replicate it. I can turn it into a living, breathing, that is, if it's an air breather, being and on camera. I really have no limitations anymore. And in fact, I'm about to build a motion capture rig, which is basically a helmet that I wear, and it's got an iPhone camera way out in front of it, and it captures, because of the wide angle, my entire body and my face. So any movements that I make or any actions that I make, running, jumping, looking around a corner, holding something in my hands. Lynn, thank you so much. We don't have the bell tonight. And then that motion of my body and my face and even the words I say can be put directly into the 3D character that I make. And that means any kind of human or being or alien, whatever you want to call it, I can do. So that's the next step. Right now I'm using motion capture and facial capture and mixing them. This all inclusive now. So it's we're going to get to the point here where single-handedly, with Mary's help, I can make a feature motion picture about this subject, a 2-hour movie. It's something we're thinking about. I don't need someone to give me a budget for several $1 million and have a full crew. And oh, you got a bell. Be careful. You wiggle that thing, I could lose the camera. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I could single-handedly make a feature film. Of course, we won't have any actual real actors. We won't use real cameras, and we won't use real locations and sets. All that would be done virtually, and it'll be so close to reality that you'll question, was it all done with CGI or what? Now, AI is incapable, in my opinion, of doing that, because as good as some of the AI I've seen is, Wes, geez, thank you. You just want to hear that bell. AI is basically incapable of doing it. It always looks the same. It might look realish and everything, but it's just got this pasty look to it. And plus, it will not do exactly what you want it to do. It'll get close. I found it very frustrating. So that's what's been going on, and I've been learning all kinds of new tricks. You'd think after all these years, since 1990, that I might have learned them all, but no, there's no way. That's what's so great about this art form, the filmmaking and working. Hello, Hedgie. Is you can never ever get bored with it, because there's always something new you learn you can do you didn't know could be done before, and it just keeps it going and going and going. It's fascinating. I mean, I'll literally sometimes work till I only have one eye open, because I'm just so excited to see what the results are going to be when I hit that render button. So, but I've talked about that enough, I think, for now, even though it does affect everything we're doing here on the show. There, change my position. As far as the visitors are concerned, I think I've been so busy, I really haven't noticed much going on, although I keep a really close eye on my dreams, because as you know, they're not always dreams. And as you know, also repressed memories. Wow, Lynn, geez. Thank you. Repressed memories can come through into your dreams, out of your subconscious, into the conscious, into your dreams. And I get people tell me all the time, well, that's a great story, Steve, but it's still just a dream. And I always say, so what do you know that I don't know? What's your evidence? And that's something you might want to think about too. You're going to have people from time to time saying that you have no proof and you have no evidence and you're just fantasizing and you're just having dreams. You could turn that right around on them and say, well, you don't have any proof either. You have no evidence either. You can't prove that I'm just having a dream. In fact, you can't even prove what dreams are. You can't tell me a dream is just a dream because I'll do Richard Dreyfuss on you. You know, when the lovely lady, Terry Garr, who just passed away, said, oh, it's just one of those things. And Dreyfuss says, which things? Which things? There is a comeback to those people because as much as they will proclaim that you have no proof and that you don't know what you're talking about or you just saw something else, they have no evidence either. So when have you ever known them to have any proof to the contrary? So, oh, Rachel says she loves that movie. Yeah, Close Encounters. I remember when it came out, I knew all about it because a friend of mine was working on it, and he was in Mobile, Alabama, where they shot it, and he was working on the grays, the little grays, did the sculptures of the little beans coming out, and he was so excited. With my friend Dave Ayers, he had this great saying: "Shoot them down. Let's see if they're friendly." But he was a big fan of Stevens, and he was a big fan of this whole subject, and it was a huge thrill for him, as it was for me to work on Star Trek, the first Star Trek movie, to work on a film like that, and I'm very happy for him. I was recently offered by someone that was involved with the making of those masks for Close Encounters. To have one because he's found the molds. He had the molds for him, and he was going to he's casting them up and making them available, I guess, to certain people. But I turned him down because I've got so many masks, and you know, the problem with rubber masks is that they don't last forever. Of course, nothing does. What is your favorite visual from Close Encounters? Well, I'm a huge Doug Trumbull fan. He's the man who blew our minds in the movie 2001. Effects which could not be improved on till this day by any means. Of course, Blade Runner is another one. He's done many. Did his own movie, Brainstorm, as well. But my favorite I really like the early stuff that he did with Richard Dreyfuss in the car and the ship over him, and then them coming around the road. I know the other stuff there was a lot more of it and everything, but it was just something about that just rung true with me. I really like that sequence. So cube sequence was insane. Yeah. I don't know if you know this about Doug Trumbull. Show scan was amazing. It wasn't embraced by the studios very well, but it was incredible. I got to see actual show scan because when I was working on Ghostbusters at Boss Films, Doug's place was right across the street, and he'd come over and talk to us because he loved seeing what we were doing. So he invited us over for show scan, and it was amazing. It was just amazing. And that originally in Close Encounters, but Brainstorm was shot in 35 millimeter, but the Brainstorm sequences were shot in show scan, which was 120 frames per second and big aperture film. And so it almost, I mean, you felt like you could put your hand into the screen. It was that amazing. And that was supposed to be used, but the studios didn't want to deal with it. So all they did is go from 133 to 239 aperture when you went to the Brainstorm sequences. And it worked okay. But One of the things you probably don't know about Douglas Trumbull is that he was very interested in the subject matter. So interested, in fact, that he designed, I think, more than one of these special vans that were equipped, and they were like, normal Dodge vans, but he had turrets cut in the tops, and he had special cameras, and he was going out hunting for them. I never heard much about what happened or what he found. Which ED character on any of the Star Trek series would you say is the most accurate? On Star Trek? Well, here's the deal. For me, I'm pretty certain for myself that the same DNA has been spread throughout this entire universe. And what really affects it is where it grows. It's like throwing seeds all over these worlds and seeing what crops up. But the humanoid life form, I think, is going to be, we're going to find, is pretty predominant. But depending on what the environment is like of their own world, how much the gravity is, the atmosphere is going to change how these humanoid characters look. And I think Gene kind of got that. And so that's why so many of his aliens, besides the budget problem, look very human. So it's I don't think any of them in Star Trek are accurate to what we know or have experienced. But some of the large-headed ones that were very the one that was the first beings that existed in our universe, that from them came all of us. That episode was great. Was close, I guess. But here's the thing about that. I've been seeing a lot of comments lately that that our experience is so diverse. Well, I don't think it's that diverse. A lot of us see the grays. They're staring at us right now behind me, and the owls, and tall whites, and very humanoid ones, like Billy Meyer saw, and which they call the Pleiadians, and that is that seems to be prevalent. But the thing for me, and I was thinking about this yesterday, is that I was talking to a friend, and we all have different brains. We really do, because we've all had different experiences. We've been brought up differently, different cultures, different preferences. A lot of people don't like Star Trek. There are people who do like Star Trek. And in particular, I know of one case from Yvonne's group from back in the 90s where this gentleman was driving up through the canyon, and there's this big open field to the left of him, and he's a Star Trek guy. And I believe he also liked Harvey, about the puka. Thank you, Mike. Thank you so much. Hit the bell. So he's driving along, and it's very dark, and something goes out right in front of him on the road there. A giant white rabbit. He stops the car. He watches it disappear off to the side of the road, and he looks over, and he sees a 747 sitting in the open field with lights lit up all over it. He gets out. He walks up to it. And he's looking at it in amazement. What's this big jet doing here? And he looks at the tail numbers, and it says 1701. Now, how many you here know what those tail numbers are? Come on, somebody here knows. 1701. Not the A, not the B, not the D, but the original 1701. Of course. Yes. I love it. Yes, of course. It's the original Enterprise, the one that's in my office, the most beautiful ship ever. So he was obviously seeing screen memories. Oh, thank you, Anne. Thank you. I saw, as you all know, a cutting board, a butcher block sitting in front of my refrigerator at 3 in the morning because I was thirsty trying to get some water and wondered why my wife left it there. And it started to move. And then it wasn't a butcher block anymore. It only had 2 legs, not 4. And it was a gray looking right at me. Very short, very beautiful, felt very feminine. And it sped off right through the refrigerator. Other people have seen very human looking people wearing, as if you listen to Joe Stillwell last night, his descriptions, I think they know very well what's in our minds and what comforts us. And so if the Starship Enterprise comforts us, then maybe you'll see that in the field instead of this very strange looking opening, dark hole in reality with lights coming out of it, which you might find very terrifying. So instead, you're going to see something else. So this will cause a variety of reports of cases and experience amongst people to be different. But yet there is a one common theme that seems to run all through it that is consistent. So I'm sure you know what I mean. So I would imagine that plenty of you have seen very strange things while having these experiences that you thought alone you were the only one that ever saw it. You may find later that you weren't alone or you were alone. I mean, if you listen to Joe Stillwell's case, the way he describes the beings and everything is really different from what I know. But again, I'm not sure how much they're inside of our heads and controlling what we think we're actually seeing. So I find that all very interesting. So going back to what's been going on around here. Yes, that's why it's also great to be here. Oh, you guys. Okay. I have had woken up feeling really weirded out, being in vehicles that look like cars but aren't cars, being with people who they're trying to. One of the things that happened to me is that I was dreaming I was working on Star Trek again, and I thought I was at Paramount, and I'm in this room that's rectangular and dimly lit, and there's chairs all around, and there's a bunch of us sitting down, and they start parading these people across in front of me who I think I recognize, but they're just people. And at that point, I started realizing I'm not at Paramount. Where am I? And then I woke up. I'm just getting little bits and pieces, and I haven't been able to string them together. Mario Woods and a number of other people have been seeing orbs a great deal lately. I haven't witnessed anything like that much at all. How about you guys? Have you been seeing orbs? Because if Yvonne's group's reporting them, a lot of people are seeing them. Now, did you, Lady Jedi, did you say that before I brought up the orbs, or did you say it afterwards? I think you brought it up before. So you're David. You're seeing lots of orbs. Okay. I think I'm just working so hard and I'm so tired. Not in a bad way, but I'm tired and I'm just like I'm not noticing a lot lately. I mean, it's a good thing because I really need to do this show and really make it one of the best things that we've done. And there are others planned. We have people coming here. We have Susan coming to tell her story, the Jackrabbit story. I don't know how many of you heard about this, but it's a case that happened when her and a friend were driving through the desert, and one more time, standing in front of her car were a whole bunch of jackrabbits, 3.5 to 4 foot tall jackrabbits. This is some big jackrabbits, and it goes from there. It's a very intense case, a lot of amazing things in it. And again, I'll have to really go the extra mile to make it as good as it can be, to really give respect to what she experienced. I find lately that when people, like when Judy was in front of camera and Earl was there with me, and she was telling her story, it's like a camera turns on in my mind and I can see what she experienced. And it's very moving. And I wonder, is it my imagination? I'm imagining what she saw, or am I truly somehow channeling what she remembers? It seems that I am doing that. I can't be sure, but it's happening more and more. And in a lot of ways, it makes it easy to get things right. I remember Seb talked in an email to me after she saw her show. She said, "Are you channeling me? I mean, how do you know that that's exactly what the being looked like?" Well, she had a drawing of it, but I could see it. So I'm looking at comments. I don't think it's recall. I think I'm actually somehow I'm seeing their memories. I mean, when Judy describes being in the hallways and going past these doorways and the blue lights along the bottom of the hallways. Oh, thank you, Dennis. That means a lot to us. And the movement inside the rooms that are dimly lit. I mean, I could see it. And it was very emotional. She got very emotional towards the end, and Earl got a little choked up too. She was definitely affecting us. So, and that was that noise you heard. That was Whitley. He wrote sleep question mark. So we've been talking about how hard we've both been working. Here, I sent him a ha. He's been working very, very hard in this next book, and this book is really going to be something. It's going to be a mind blower, and hopefully he'll be done soon. He's supposed to be done by now, but I'm sure he's going over it again and again and again, and there's editing going on and everything else. But this book's going to be, and it's about this subject, and it's about. Let's put it this way: you'll be brought up to date on what he knows and what the visitors have been sharing with them on a very deep level. So it's really should be something. I'm looking forward to it. Gee, David, I don't. I see. Oh, thank you, Wes.
Wow.
I don't know if I can see their lives or not. Maybe if I went there, I would, but I'm not sure. I do know that when they're describing their experience, I can see it. I can just see it. So maybe that's just something that filmmakers do, because a lot of filmmakers will get a good book and read it, and they will visualize it as if they're there, and then they'll turn it into a film.
Ouch.
I've always had that ability, but lately it's when Judy was describing what she was seeing, I was seeing it, especially the tall white lady, which I've been working on really hard. How you're going to see things. When I write, I see it like a movie in my head. I do too, Judy. The way I'm going to show the beings in her film are not going to be very. I'm trying to stay away from the blatant. There they are, all crisp and sharp and in focus, and I really want to give it more of that dreamy effect, because when you think back about your experiences and when you had them, there's this sort of dream effect. I mean, this sort of softness to it all. At least there is for me. When I think about seeing the being in the kitchen that night, that was crisp and sharp because I was fully awake. And the other times I was fully awake, it's pretty crisp and sharp too. But I think also for the audience, it's better. There's an old saying, less is more. And I think the more suggestive you are and the more moody you are, and changing depth of field and going between soft focus and some stuff sharply in focus, but the rest of the face sort of falls off into a depth of field. I think it gets into your head more. I think it gets into your subconscious more. But yeah, I'm really playing with how I'm doing these things differently to make them more suggestive and make them in a way that they really get deeper inside of you, if that makes sense. So when we see her tall white lady that she gets very angry at, and you'll find out why. When we're seeing her, she's going to be very backlit and very bright, because she described her as sort of glowing and very white skin and pointed chin, but human looking, but with like bigger, larger eyes, with delicate features and very loving and kind expressions. She's going to be lit pretty hot and pretty soft focused around the edges, and ethereal, like angel like, glowing like beings. You've seen them. Mary's seen them. You've heard them described, and I know many of you here have seen tall, white, glowing beings. So that's how I'm going to handle it. Well, the mantis, okay, with the mantis is an interesting thing, because I've talked to people, and they said in the past, and they said, well, I've seen these big, tall mantis beings, and they have these big heads and these big, big, huge eyes, a thin little neck, and they're very spindly like a bug. And I'll show them a drawing from my many drawings and say, yeah, that's it. And I'll give you a perfect example here. Go. Where is that? This one here. I still think this is really one of the most accurate ones I've ever done. And they'll say, yeah, that's it. That's the praying mantis. Well, you can see how people might think that, because they are very bug looking like. And I think I do have in here somewhere the praying mantis drawing that I did a while back. And so what I did for Judy's, oh, thank you, David. Jeez. George. Oh, George, thank you. My bell. Thank you so much. Wow, you guys are amazing. So Judy's praying mantises that I made are more like this. In fact, I think I've got the poster down here. You can see them roughly. And those are all 3D, and I made the wireframes, made the meshes. They're animated, and it's a pretty amazing scene. There's going to be a trailer pretty soon for her story, her film. So, and I should hopefully have that out. Yes, that's how they looked. Really? because I didn't, you just described praying mantises to me. We didn't go into any detail. So I hope that's what they look like, but I kind of what I was seeing. So, I wasn't afraid of been around these. I don't follow Lady Jetty. Maybe you said something up before and I didn't catch it. Being confused about being in a conference I call harvesting. Yeah, well, I was just sitting down and I was hanging out with people I knew, although when I look at their faces now, there was a woman to my, it's funny how this works. There was a woman to my left and she's smiling at me. Very round face, small eyes. And there's a man sitting on my right. And they're very friendly. And these people are being brought through in front of me. That's what I'm recalling. So it was a little triangular like that in the blue light in the background. Okay, well that's good. I knew the blue light was there. And when you actually see the scene, you don't see them quite as clearly as you do in the poster. It's much more suggestive, and you see the reflections off the eyes, which are that part's in focus, and yeah, it's really something. And then the one comes into the room and he extends his hand in front of him and he points that finger at you. And of course, I'm not going to say what happens next because I don't want to give everything away, but you know what happens, Judy. And that shot is really amazing. It's really something. You've given me a lot to work with, you know. So what I'm doing is I'm going through your edit. I'm listening to everything you say. I'm making notes, and I'm going in there, and then I'm creating whatever needs to be created. So next thing I'm going to be doing after I finish this hybrid baby is I'm going to be doing the interiors of the location that you were in. I'm going to be doing the Maui stuff. In building that whole set and getting that all ready. So there's lots to do still. As you can see clearly, I have an owl behind me, and that is a CG owl, and that owl is fully animated. I can make it fly, jump, look around, sit, blink its eyes, everything. And it's that owl back there. Now, I think that did you say that owl was white, Judy? I can't remember. I mean, this one's kind of white. Yeah. I might have to adjust the coloring on it somewhat. Or just put a lot of light on it. Pure white and huge. Now, I'm not clear on this. Are there white owls in Hawaii? And you said he was huge too. Yeah. Huge. It was a snowy owl. But I don't think they have them in over there. No. Okay. And your husband remembers the owl. And that's it. But so I have a really nice owl, and he's not pure white, but I think we can fix that. So no owls in Hawaii. Okay. That's what I thought. So, and I don't think they have great horned owls in San Francisco out in the avenues either. I mean, there's no trees in the avenues for them to hang out in. Maybe that's why it was in my window when I was 6 years old. Tropical birds, yes. Well, yeah. Okay. Hey, Jay, thank you. I like coming here because I don't have to explain as much. Yeah, we're all safe here. It's really nice. It's such a great community, and it's just so nice that the few trolls we had, they gave up on us, and the reason they did that is because none of you engaged them, not even in community, and that's what they're looking for. Um, they're out to rattle your cage and get you to react uh, or respond. And you did respond. You responded by not responding, and that's the best way. And thank you very much for doing that, because on my Facebook page, I get people going after me for things that views I have, and I've noticed that they can be very angry. And if you just simply don't acknowledge them, they just give up. They might say a few more hateful things, and then nobody else engages them there either, and they just go away. So they find other prey.
Whitley.
That's Whitley again. He's saying, you should remind folks of the time of the meditation. I don't recall it myself. It hasn't been in the last 2 emails about it. I am with the kids on Sundays, and I'm not sure I can come, but I hope. Okay. So Whitley's hoping to
Meditation.
join the meditation. Yeah. So you need to remind him of what time it is on Sunday.
Yeah.
He can get in there. He can just pop up his laptop. So it's always good to hear from Whitley. Yeah, I can't wait to see his book or read it when he gets it done. I'm really liking this background I made from when we do the show from home. See, I want to know. It's really nice. The owl is similar to the actual owl that I made. And there goes my nose again. What is it about that stuff? Now my camera's going out of focus. 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 That's interesting. Oh, back in focus again. Okay. Well, let's go watch Anne's story, and I'll see you guys in chat. And from doing this from home, I think was pretty successful. Did the sound okay with this different microphone? Well, Lady Jedi, let's hope they do a better version of that film, because that film didn't work for me at all. If you've read the book, you wouldn't like the film. At least that's how I feel. Now I hear Whitley on your phone in the other room. The sound is crisp and clear. Well, that's good. I don't know if it's robust like the mic I have at the studio, but I can get the book. Please read the book. You will see a huge difference. Hollywood cannot do this subject. They're incapable of it. They will never be able to do it. And if you saw Fire in the Sky and thought that was a good film, same thing. It's a terrible movie. It is inaccurate. If you read his book, you'll get the real deal. The only time Hollywood ever got it right was when they did the UFO incident, and that was about Barney and Betty Hill, and that was back in the 70s. And I don't know why that film was dead accurate and super well done to the book, but it was. So anyway, so if you haven't read Communion, you guys, you've seen the movie and you like the movie, read the book, and then you'll get so much more out of that book. And Whitley will appreciate it too, because that's still one of the best of all of them, I think. So we'll see you in chat a little bit here. I'm going to sign off, and thank you so much for all your support and putting up with this tired guy. I'm punchy tonight. Tonight for some of you, it's still today for me. Well, it's almost 5 o'clock. And thank you for all the support too. I mean, thank you for all the contributions tonight, you guys. It was really amazing. Really amazing. And it's so appreciated by us. And as always, we send you all our love. We love you very much, and we can't wait to be with you again. And we'll see many of you tomorrow in the meditation. Okay.
And Anne's movie.
And what? And oh, yes, I know. Well, that's what I said. We're going to go see Anne's movie. So let's go watch it. All right, you guys. Good night.